We are here with the VIP meet and greet with Ms. Sugar Sullivan and Ms. Barbara Billups. Let's give them a hand. And thank you, ladies, for blessing us with your presence again.
Very welcome.
We are so proud and excited to have you all here with us. My name is Rick Panganiban. Again, for those of you who don't know me, for many years, I helped run the site Yehudi.com. Who's heard of Yehudi? Okay. There's like four of you. That's good. So I have been trying to chronicle and follow the history and developments and news in Lindy Hop for the past 20 plus years. But I have to say, thank you, I have never had the pleasure of hanging out and talking with you ladies. So this is a huge pleasure for me. So there's a lot of places we could go, but I think we should just get started with, why don't y'all introduce yourself, maybe say where you're from and how you guys started dancing. Let's start with Sugar.
I'm Sugar Sullivan. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. And I lived there for quite a few years before I moved to Connecticut. I was in Connecticut for 13 years. Now I live in Florida since '97.
Nice. Ms. Barbara?
My name is Barbara Billups. I was born in Georgia and raised in Georgia, but I'm living now here in New York.
All right. So we're all dancers, and we're all at various stages in our journey. Maybe some of us are just beginning. Maybe some of us are doing this for a few years. But I think we all have a lot to learn, and we are here to learn from you all. So maybe you could take us back a little bit and let us know how you got started in your dance journey.
Okay.
Let me say something first.
Excuse me.
Let me tell you how I met this one. That's when it all started. I used to go to the Savoy, and I used to hang out in the Savoy. We knew each other's faces, but I don't know whether she knew my name. I knew her name. But this one night, there was a circle, and everybody was dancing, and I was on the back of the circle trying to figure out what they was doing. And all of a sudden, this man came and grabbed my hand, and I kept saying, I can't do that, I can't do that. He said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Come on. So I got in the circle. Now, when you know you're doing something right, all of a sudden, one of the other fellas would come in. Next thing I know, I had danced with 5 fellas. I said, well, I know I must be doing something right. But the problem about it, after that was over, I went home. And I was so anxious to get back to know there's somebody there that would dance with me besides, the girls or so forth, which we didn't dance with each other then. But I was always trying to do what I saw them do. And this particular night, I just came inside the door. And this person came up to me and said, do you know the fella that you were dancing with last night? I said, no. That's my husband. I said, oh. She said, come here. Let me show you what he was trying to get you to do. It was this one here. And from that day to this one, she and I been just like this. Now you can start, Sugar.
Thank you. I started as a tap dancer. I started like 4 years old. That's when my mother was able to get me into a dancing school that would take me, because she was trying from the time I was 2. They said, no, she's got to be a little bit bigger, a little older. So I started at 4. And I was going to this dancing school, but my house was a haven for entertainers. My mother loved entertainers, and she would cook for them, and tap dancers would hang out at our house, comedians, and like if their tap shoes was in the pawn shop and they got a gig, and they say, Lady Esther, could you loan me, $5, get my shoes out of pawn? I'll pay you because I got a gig, So she said, okay, as long as you got a job and you bring me my money. She'd loan them the money, she cooked dinner for them, things like that. So one particular act called the Three Speed Kings. They were three young guys out of Cleveland, Ohio. And they ran away from Cleveland, Ohio, because the nightclub they was working in, the mafia loved them. So when they like you, you got to stay until they get tired of you. So one night when they got off from work, they just sneaked out of town with their tux or whatever they had and came to New York. And they got gigs at the Apollo off and on now and then, you know. So when I would come home from dancing school, for my lessons on Saturday, they said, let me show me what you learned. So I showed them, you know, and said, let's put a little new twist on that particular step and do it this way, you know. So I would, you know. So every year we had a concert. And the teacher would give you your song, and then she say, periodically you'll be learning steps for your routine, go to song. Okay, that's fine, you know. So I started getting my routine together, you know. And when I come home, Buster Brown, who was a famous tap dancer, and he said, Sugar, I heard you got your song for your show this year. I said, yeah. He said, let me see what they started you with. So I showed him what steps I had learned, you know, that day. And he said, okay, so let's look. Why don't you try it like this? And then his partner, which was Sylvester Luke, he said, also, Sugar, do the next one like this. So they would teach me a routine at home for my song, and I learned one in the dancing school to that song. So the night of the concert, you know, I'm like betwixt and between, and I say, well, I like the one the Speed Kings taught me better. So when my number came up, you know, I went out there and I did this professional routine, you know. I look at my teacher, she's standing in the audience, in the wings, you know. And I smile and I keep on going. You know, when I come up, she said, I loved your routine, Sugar. I said, thank you, ma'am, thank you, you know. And I go into the dressing room, you know. This went on 2 years. The third year, she says, okay, let's get ready. Here's your song. So-and-so, here's your song. Sugar, here's your song. And I'll be looking forward to seeing your routine. I said, yes, ma'am, you know. So that was my last year at dancing school, because Buster and Sylvester told my mother, you wasting your money. She's learning professional at home for free, you know. Take her out of there. You're giving them money away. So I stopped going to dancing school. And by then, I was 9 years old. She had put me with the 18-year-olds. You know, I like that. But I started doing gigs instead. I was doing afternoon teas my grandmother would have, and her organizations, you know, the Odd Fellows, and you know, these different organizations she belonged to, and the choir ensemble. They would have their little teas, and I would entertain them. I put on my little dance routine, my little dance outfits, and I go and tap dance for them, you know, and they give me a few dollars, so I love that. On Saturdays, I would go in front of the record store. I asked the guy, I said, you mind if I dance in your doorway, you know, I want to make me some movie money. He said, no problem. And they had the music blasted out of the doorway, you know. So that's what I would do on Saturday mornings and make my movie money. And I'd go to movie on Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons, you know. So it was getting to be like 14 years old. I wasn't tapping much anymore, you know. And I love musicals. So I went to the movies and saw this movie. And these people on the screen, the guys was throwing the girls through their legs, and the girls were flipping the guys off their shoulder. And I said, I got to learn that dance, you know. I said, I want to learn that dance. And it was my boyfriend and I, my first boyfriend. We would go to the movies, and he said, you want to do what? I said, we got to learn that. You and I, we're going to do this. He said, you got to be crazy. What the heck are they doing? I said, I don't care. It's dancing. We're going to learn it, you know. So we sat in the movie. That time, you saw the movie over and over again, you know. You saw 2 main features. You saw 10 cartoons. And you saw a chapter series. So you sit there. As long as the matron was on, you could stay in the movie. 6 o'clock, if you wasn't with a parent, when she got off, you went home, okay? On Saturday and Sunday, the parents would come to the door. Miss So-and-so, could you tell Sugar, go get sugar for me? No problem. She come in the aisle, shine the last flashlight in your face. Your mama's waiting for you. Come on, get up. Let's go. You know. So that's how that went. So the movie would run, they would run a couple of weeks. So every afternoon after school, I told Mama about this dance. I said, Mama, got to learn this dance. Ray and I are going to be going to the movie every afternoon after school and trying to get this dance routine. She said, what kind of dance? I said, I don't know what it is. I said, but it's got acrobatics in it, you know. And she said, really? She said, okay, all right. So she give me the money and I go to movies and then we go to Central Park, which wasn't far from there, and we get a little corn on the grass, and we trying to figure out what to do. I tell them, you remember one part, I remember another part, we put them together. And so that's what we did. So it was like 1945, and there was a dance contest coming up in Central Park. So I told him, I said, you know what? We ought to try out for that. He said, you got to be crazy. We don't know what the heck we're doing. I said, yeah, but we might win some money. You know, he said, okay, all right, I could talk him into anything, yeah. So we got also a little routine together, you know, and we have been dancing at the teenage canteen that we went to. There was a teenage canteen that was built by the Pepsi-Cola company in our neighborhood. And so we would go there every day. You could go in there from 13 to 18 years old. And we would go there every day to do our homework. And we had a jukebox. We had a pool table, you know. We played cards, we played checkers, and some kids played chess. So that's what, and once a month, we put on a show. So I had been tap dancing and singing. And so now we did our little dance, you know, and everybody liked it. So I told him, I said, yeah, I think we got a chance. We'll try this contest. So we entered this contest in Central Park. And lo and behold, we won first place. Yeah, that was our first contest. It was $25 and a painting by Walt Disney because it was sponsored by Walt Disney for a short that he had coming up. So a short feature. So that's how I started in Lindy Hop.
Oh my goodness.
Before I knew what it was called.
Sugar Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen.
And that movie was, what was it? Hell's a Poppin'. That's right.
All right, so hold up. So you had to sit through that whole dang movie to see that one sequence.
Of course. Yeah. Every day.
They didn't have YouTube back then. And if you've ever seen that whole movie, it is a very strange movie. And there is no other black people in the whole movie except for that one part.
That's right. I wasn't paying no attention to color. I like that crazy dance. Throwing each other all over and everything. Oh, that's what attracted me. I wanted to learn that dance.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
So many directions we could take this, but I do have to mention, so you were getting paid as early as what? How young?
About 9 years old, I started.
So I see some children in the audience.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
You could be earning your keep for your families from these lessons. Maybe they still got record stores you could be dancing in front of.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
All right.
You'll be surprised. You go swing out with your dance partner in front of a record store. They'll love it.
Yeah.
They'll
absolutely.
love it.
I gotta see that.
Yeah.
I gotta see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's turn over to Ms. Barbara. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started dancing and maybe who were your early inspirations?
Well, I did not go to dancing school. Only dancing that I really did was home with me and my sister, and we didn't know that too much about dancing, only the music. And then when I was in high school, that's when I really actually started dancing, because we would have things at school, and we would have, dancing at school, or we may have a play or something, and whenever there was a dance, I was always there in that dance. And no matter how many people they had there, My problem was, which I realized now, I was wrong, but I did it anyway. When we had a dance to do, and everybody's supposed to be doing the same thing, if the music got good to me, I didn't do that. I did something else. And they started saying, no, put Barbara in the back, because she's not going to let us do it. But it didn't make any difference. They could put me in the back. I made my way to get in front anyway. But most of that was like in high school. And then after I finished high school, my grandmother raised me. She said, it's time for you to go to New York where your mother lived. So I came to New York. And when I came to New York, I had a cousin. And my mother knew my cousin. She told her, take Barbara to the Savoy. All right, she took me to the Savoy. And when I went to the Savoy, I never seen a place so big before in my life. The trouble about it, you know, in school you have a gymnasium, right? It's big and everything, but you can sit that gymnasium in Savoy maybe 1 or 2 times. That's how big it was. And it was such a beautiful place. Now I'm saying, I'm going here to do some dancing? I said, not me. And my cousin said, yes, Barbara, we have to go. You're going to enjoy it. We know you like dancing. And she took me there. And when she took me there, I really enjoyed it. You'll be surprised how the dancing were. And like I told you, I met somebody. So she made it just that much more fun for me to dance. So between that and that, she did teach me some of the routines. And she did try to keep me in line, but that didn't work. It didn't matter with me. Whatever I had to do, I was right out there. She argued with me. Our other part we were arguing with this. Said, Barbara, just step along this way. I said, okay. They said, but that ain't the way I learn. I said, uh-huh. That's where it goes. And we had a chorus line, too. It was about 5 girls, sometimes 4 girls, whatever it was. That he really taught us these routines and the things that we had to do.
You're going ahead of yourself. Too quick. Okay, so.
Didn't I tell you?
So after we won this contest, my partner and I,
wait a minute.
A lady came up to me and she said, you know, you two are good enough to be in the Harvest Moon Ball. And we said, what is that? So she said, it's a big contest that's sponsored by the Daily newspaper. It's called the Daily News, New York Daily News. And it's performed, they have it at Madison Square Garden every year in September. And she said they give big money for the contest winners. I said, really? I said, how do we get into this thing? She said, go down on 42nd Street to the Daily News building, and they'll give you information. So that's what we did. We went down to Daily News, and they asked us, well, where do you live? So my partner and I said, we live in Harlem. So she said, oh, you just missed the preliminaries for Harlem, which was held at the Savoy Ballroom. So I said, oh, okay, so what do we do? So he explained, he says, there's 3 ballrooms that they have preliminaries. And if you qualify at the preliminaries, then you can go to Madison Square Garden for the finals. So I says, well, when is the next one coming up? He said, Roseland Ballroom, which is down on Broadway, is having their preliminaries, their next. And then there was Glen Allen Casino, which was out in Long Island. So now Glen Allen Casino was all white occupants, you know. So, and Roseland Ballroom on Broadway, that was all white also. And so Harlem was where African Americans would go for the contest, you know. But we had missed that. So he said, you can go to Roseland, you know. So we said, okay. So we fill out the applications and everything. And so Ray and I going home, we was discussing. You know, he said, you think we don't let us dance there? I said, they can't stop us, you know. We live here, you know. This is home. He says, well, I'll try it if you try it. I said, I'll try it, you know. So that night, we went down to Roseland Ballroom. We was ready to dance, had our sneakers and everything, you know. And they said, okay, all right. They gave us the numbers and everything, and we went inside, and we waited, you know. And lo and behold, they let us dance that night with all the other contestants. And we came in second. But it was never recorded. They didn't even put it in the paper. And what they did was, for the first time, they didn't put first, second, and third in the paper. They just put the names of the people that was going to the garden. Because they used to pick out 12 couples from each ballroom to go to the garden for the finals. And out of those 12 from each ballroom, they would pick first, second, and third. So they wouldn't even give them, you know, the honor of letting them know who won first, second, or third, because they would have to say that we won second, and by it being all white, you know. But that was great. I didn't know this until years later, that it was never recorded, because I've had a lot of people that researched it, looking for it, and they never could find it recorded. So we went to Madison Square Garden. And when we got to Madison Square Garden that day, and we were rehearsing for the show, you know, because it went on the air at 8 o'clock at night, but we started like 8 o'clock in the morning to practice this thing, all these different couples. And it was more than just Lindy Hop. They had rumba. They had Viennese waltz, rumba. I can't think. Help me. Tango, foxtrot. Tango,
and breakdancing.
Foxtrot. And always last for the evening was the Lindy Hop, because the people would go crazy when they would announce it. Everybody in Madison Square Garden would stand up and they would applaud and they would scream and everything. You know, our families was all up there, because we got free tickets for our families to go. However many you had, each participant got free tickets for them to be in the audience. So that was really great, you know. So when we come out and we march around the stage to a nice beat, you know, kick our legs and everything, and the people were just hollering and screaming, you know. They always waited for that. Everybody loved to see the Lindy Hop. And when I saw them rehearsing that afternoon, I asked Ray, I said, what are we doing here? We're not doing what they're doing. You know, we had a couple of steps, you know, but they was, every time you look around, every couple, they was flipping and throwing and splitting. And, oh, man. So I said, hey, we'll do what we do, you know, and don't expect to win nothing, you know, which we didn't, you know, but that was fine. But we made a good showing, because the night of the Harvest Moon Ball, the Daily News put out a special edition, and in the middle of the special edition for that night, they show first place winners. Lo and behold, they put my partner and I in the paper, hadn't won nothing, you know. Got back to my block, at that time, everybody knew each other on the block, you know. Because when my mother would call me out the window 2 blocks away, they tell me, your mama's calling you, sugar. Okay, I'm going home. You know, one of those things. So everybody was in the street, and they were hollering and carrying on. We got home, and, well, what are you talking about? You won. No, we didn't win, you know. But we'd made a good showing, you know, and they put it in the paper, so we felt good about that. So then I had to find out how to learn how to do this dance. And they said, go to the Savoy Ballroom. I knew where the Savoy Ballroom was. And I went walking up there, 16 years old, with my socks on, no makeup. I go walking up there, and the guy at the door, hey, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going upstairs. I want to dance. He said, how old are you? I said, 16. Go home and get your mama. I said, what? He said, go home and get your mama. You can't go up there. You're too young. I said, how old do I have to be? He said, 18. I said, you sure? He said, I'm positive. I work here. I said, okay, I'll come back. So I went home that night all sad and everything. On my 18th birthday, I went to Savoy, girl. You know it. You know I went to Savoy. Oh, yes, I did. I went to Savoy. And he said, how old are you? I said, see? Oh, okay, all right. He said, pay your money and go on upstairs. So that's what I did. So that's how I started doing Lindy Hop. Really doing
Amazing. Woo. All right, let's, come on. All right. Well, we went a direction that I was excited to go to is the harvest.
Wait just a minute. She ain't finished. She didn't tell you how she won first place. Now you gonna tell it? Tell it all.
Well, I had a few partners before I won first place in the Harvest Moon Ball. I had an African partner. He had me doing head twirls and splits. And I had about maybe 4 partners. Every year, I didn't win nothing. I was in the Harvest Moon Ball, but I didn't win nothing. I got lots of medals because they give you a gold medal every year with the date on the back and your name, you know. So I have quite a few medals. And I was dancing with this guy called Big Nick. He was 6'2". I was 5'2", weighing 84 pounds. And he threw me around like a rag doll. And that particular year, everybody, you know, we always tell each other, this is your year, you know, whoever we think is the best. And they was all saying, Sugar, this is you and Nick's year. You got it. You got it. So I said, yeah, you don't think so? Yeah, Nick, we was all hopped up, you know. So we was rehearsing. We made the preliminaries. And so we're getting ready. 3 weeks from the preliminaries is the finals. So we just brushing up, cleaning up our routine, you know, maybe trying to add a little extra something. And that night we was practicing. He said, well, let's run through the routine one more time and let's go home for the night. I said, okay. Well, so we get going through the routine, got like middle way, and bam, I hit the floor on my head. Blood spurting from my forehead. The blood was spurting. I couldn't move my arm. I'm laying on the floor, and I said, well, I won't be dancing no more. You know, because my husband ain't never wanted me to dance, but there's nothing he could do about it, because when he met me, I was dancing. So I says, no, I won't be dancing no more. So we went to the hospital, had to find a garage that was open so they could cut my wedding bands off my hand. And they had all bent up and everything. So I'm home, you know, and I'm recuperating. And he says, why you said you're not dancing anymore? I said, you don't want me to dance, now you got a reason. And I agree with you. I fell. Okay, so it's over, you know. I'm not going to stress with it. It's over. You know. He said, what about if I dance with it? I said, what? I laughed in his face. Because he was a very smooth dancer. He didn't do Lindy Hop. He did slow dancing, and he was great at it, you know. And he would just come to Apollo, come to the Savoy every night to pick me up. I would go to Savoy by myself, and then he'd come when it's time to go home and pick me up. And he danced maybe a little bit, you know. So I said, you sure? He said, I can do it. I said, yeah, all right. So we started rehearsing. I said, we only got 3 weeks. He says, I can do it. So we went up there and we started practicing, and the guys was laughing. You see George Sullivan is up here trying to Lindy Hop, man. Oh, this is funny, man. And the guys were standing, they would watch him, you know, and him and I, we'd be arguing. No, it don't go like that. It goes like this. And I'm trying. Well, you ain't trying hard enough. And that's what we would go through every day, you know. And then the guys say, he's serious, you know. And they start helping him. And there was Lee Moats, Ronald Hayes, and Big Nick, and you know, and they, Willie Posey, they would all, you know, let me show the guys, we do this, you have to do this, and you know, you walk over this way. So, and like that night, we made a big showing, and it was great, you know. And so him and I, every year, we won third. Next year, we won second. The next year, we tied for third, and we got nothing. We came in fourth. I cried like a baby. And then the next year, which was 19 55, we came in first. Cried like a baby again, too. And Barbara, she would come up to dance, but we couldn't get her to dance in the contest, you know. So 1958, what happened, Barbara?
Well, they kept on after me. And they kept telling me, if you don't dance, we're not going to dance with you anymore. Not that I care, because I knew better. But they had this guy named Willie Posey. And Willie Posey, forget now, he was a hell of a dancer. But for some reason, the girls didn't like to dance with him. I guess because they all had on suits, and his suits was old, but it was new. He was dressing, but I guess they just didn't like to dance with him.
He was sweet as he could be. He was my partner one year, too.
So her husband, George Seller, came up to me and said, Barbara, I said, what? He said, you got to dance with Willie Posey. I said, He said, yes, you're going to have to dance with Willie Posey. I said, but Sullivan, he said, no. Then big nigga looking up, they all came over and said, please, Barbara, do us a favor. I said, but they got all these other girls around here. They said, yeah, but you can do it.
Willie Posey had made the preliminaries, and then his party just disappeared on us. You know, she didn't come back no more. So that's when they begged Barbara to please. You know, he had made the preliminaries, so all he needed was a partner, and she would go to the garden.
So I told them, I said, you only have 2 weeks. I can't do it in routine. They said, we're going to work with you. You're going to do it. So they did. They had me there from sun up to sundown, to do these flips and things with Willie Posey. You know, Willie Posey and I did go to the play. Not to play, but we went to Madison Square Garden. And we danced. I was so scared. I was telling them, I was outside telling them I had to go to the bathroom. She said, get on in there. They were telling me, no, you got to dance. But you know, sometimes when you're doing something important, you have a funny feeling something's wrong, or you need some water, or you get scared of one or the other. They told me, no, you go in there, you're going to dance with Willie Posey. So me and Willie Posey, they called our number, and we went on the floor. And once I got on the floor, I forgot about the dancing. I forgot about how frightened I was. So when we came off the floor, she said, didn't you say you had to go to the bathroom? I said, She said, so that night, they called Sun Allen and the Rockies, and I forgot the other person that they called. Barbara Billups and Willie Posey. And I was walking out. I just knew I didn't get anything because I hadn't been dancing no time like everybody else. I got second place. And right after then, I started doing professional dancing with Sun Allen and the Rockets and Sugar Sullivan.
Yeah, Sonny Allen won first place in 58.
Yes.
The same year that her and Willie Posey was in the contest. And then after Sonny won first place, he told us, he says, I want to get a dance review together. So I said, what do you mean? He says, I want 8 girls, and we'll carry our own band, and we'll travel the country and entertain. So I said, hey, that sounds good to me.
Wait a minute. She's going too fast. Sonny Allen was in the Savoy one night, and he asked her to dance with him. And she said, no, you can't dance. I'm not dancing to dance with you. He looked at her. He said, one day, you're going to be dancing for me. Working for me. What did you tell him?
I told him, in your dreams.
But the dreams came fast.
It's true.
It came very fast. Because right after then, we started opening the parlor. We started doing different things, different dancing. And she was right there, dancing with Sun Allen, like the rest of us.
we got the 8 girls. He said y'all know the girls, so y'all can get the girls. So we talked to some of the girls that were dancing that we figured that was capable of dancing and entertaining people. Lo and behold, we didn't know what we were in for, because we had this room, this building that his dad used to take care of or something, and he gave us a room to practice in. So we would meet Sonny there, 8 girls, and Sonny Allen. He had us doing all these exercises and everything, and when come to find out, he had been a drill sergeant in the army. So you know what we were in for, right? But it was fine. We ended up doing push-ups on our knuckles, honey. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And not only did we do Lindy Hop, he was a tap instructor at a dancing school, which we didn't know when he came to the Savoy. So we did tap, we did Latin, we learned African dancing, we did modern jazz, and we would end our show with Lindy Hop. My partner was a girl. That time, 2 girls did not dance together. But I was the flyer. We called people flyers, the one that did all the guys threw around. This one loves to fly. She loved it.
I'd rather be in the air any day than on the floor.
So that's what we did. We had a girl that knew nothing about Lindy Hop. So that number, she would open it up and she did her little crazy something, and the people loved whatever she was doing. She had beautiful personality. Her name was Little Bit. God bless her dead. She just passed away last month. And then my partner and I, we would come out and do our routine and our flips and so forth, and her and Sonny would finish it up, and then we have something that we did at the end all together. And we did the stops all together also on the stage.
The same one you saw today.
That you learned today, some of you.
And the one you're going to see tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did all of that together.
Yeah. So, and then we were called Sonny Allen and the Rockets. And we traveled all across Canada and the United States. And we did that for 13 years.
Wow.
They knew us at the border. When we got to the border, the custom agents would say, "Where are y'all appearing? What city?" And they would come to see us perform. And we were very popular in Canada, all over Canada, different places we danced. Toronto, we danced in Montreal, Quebec City, little towns, which was like Sudbury was a small town, Bellevue, Quebec, that was another small town in Canada.
Saskatchewan, Brandon,
yes,
Manitoba.
Saskatchewan. Oh, yeah.
Anybody got a question? I'm tired. Anybody got a question?
I definitely want to take questions from the audience, but I do have to observe that, so we do this dance and we have to explain to our friends what we do because they don't understand it. It's like a weird thing that we do, right? It's like, Lindy Hop, what is that?
Yeah.
You all live in a time where you could travel anywhere and lots of people would line up and pay money to see Lindy Hop because it was everywhere, and so that blows my mind.
Yes.
For years and years that you could do that.
Right.
And now it's kind of this underground thing. I mean, so much has changed, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true, yes. It started back in the 30s, The dances back there was two-step, the shag, and Charleston. That was the popular. And then the big bands was coming into New York with this music, this swing-type music. And at the Savoy, the young dancers that was regulars there, they said, well, we got to get something to go with this music. So they came up with this dance. And for a long time, there wasn't a name for it. And one day they had this marathon. And one of the guys from the Savoy the reporters and everything, and said, "What do you call this dance? What do you call this dance?" And he said all he could think of was, in the paper he saw Lindbergh hops the Atlantic, which that was Lindbergh had flew over the Atlantic Ocean, and he said, "It's called Lindy Hop." And they said, "Oh, okay." So and it caught, that was it. That's the way everybody says Lindy Hop was named. Whether it's true or not, that's our story, and we're sticking with it.
Amazing. So yeah, now let's see. We've got just a few more minutes with these amazing legends. So this is your opportunity to ask either of these ladies any question that is coming up for y'all.
Not everybody at the same time.
Come on now. I know.
All
Go ahead.
right.
There's a young lady right there. Right, you, yes.
I can give it to you after this. Sugar, in the first competition that you did in Central Park, when you didn't even know it was called the Lindy Hop, was that a Lindy Hop competition? Or was it just like a dance competition and you go do whatever dances to it?
I'm not getting all of it. She was asking about.
So the Central Park competition that you won,
Right.
what was the kind of dancing that people were doing? Was it Lindy Hop?
It was only Lindy Hop because
Lindy Hop.
the little feature that Disney had coming out, it was about a soda fountain where teenagers hung out and was doing Lindy Hop around this jukebox. And the painting that my partner and I received was, I always danced in a ponytail. There was a girl at the jukebox dancing with this ponytail. And my partner, his painting was, he was tall and slim. And this guy in the painting was tall and slim and dancing in front of a jukebox. And it was called Make Mine Music. That was the name of the feature, and it was a short feature. So it was Lindy Hop.
All right, we'll look for it on Disney Plus. All right, you got a question?
First of all, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. It is such a treat. My question is, could you tell us a little bit more about what a typical night at the Savoy Ballroom looked like when you were social dancing, what the bands were like, who was coming out to dance, anything that you'd want to share about what that looked like?
Okay, all right. You want to start, Barbara?
Social night there at the Savoy. Everybody was out there could come out, no matter what. And it wasn't just for the blackers, for everybody, whoever was there. Once you open that door, once you go inside that door, it wasn't no white hair, no black hair, no this. We all was one big happy family. Nobody showed any difference. And the place was so big, the bandstand was so big that the music never stopped. They always, once the band started playing, once they get ready to go off, no matter what they was playing, the other band was come on and join in with them. So that would give the other band all time to go away. The music never stopped there at the Savoy.
Like from 10 to 3 in the morning.
Yeah, from 10 to 3. Never stopped.
It was continuous. We didn't want to stop to go to the bathroom. We'd run off to go in, and we get in the bathroom, and the matron in there, she was saying, "Okay, they just changed the song. Hurry up, here's your towel, and we'd run in and go to the bathroom and come out, wash our hands, hand us a towel, and we'd run back out on the dance floor. And that's the way it was from like 10 at night till 3 in the morning. So it was continuous.
And we was there.
And we tried to dance every
And
night.
I had to work. But I left there and went to work. Came back from work, went home, changed clothes, closed my eyes for 5 minutes, and went right back to the Savoy.
I was there from the time it opened till it closed. My mother, at night, my mother says, "You make sure those children are asleep," because I had 2, my daughter and my son, and I put them in the bed. Now my son was the problem. He was a night owl like his mama, and he's laying there, and I was saying, "Go to bed, baby. Go to sleep now." I was all dressed. I laid out on the bed, and I'm patting him in the crib, right? I'm patting him and I'm humming to him, and singing to him. Yeah, every time he stopped, I was out the back door. When he was on the ground floor, I ran out the back door and I didn't go to the corner where I was supposed to get the bus because that was a long way. And I knew my mother would be standing on the step hollering, Sugar, come back here. I would run to the shortest corner and then go a whole block around to go to the bus, And every morning my mother said, you know darn well that boy was not sleeping. I said, Mom, I could have sworn he was sleeping. It was so quiet. Because I have the light out, and I'm laying there all dressed, waiting for him to just get quiet, She didn't mind it, not really. She loved it because she loved dancing. And she was a Lindy Hopper, but she was a Lindy Hopper at Renaissance Ballroom, which was a few blocks down from Savoy. So they was like competitors. The Rennie dancers and the Savoy dancers, they were like competitors, And she used to Lindy Hop there, so she know just how I felt. That's where her and my dad used to dance, at the Renaissance Ballroom.
Amazing. All right, I think maybe a couple more questions.
How you doing?
Hi, that's my grandson.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to California. The last time you was here was right before the pandemic.
So what?
The last time y'all was here.
Right.
It was right before right before the pandemic. So, what can you say and what you like the most of dancing at the Savoy?
Okay, what I like most. Okay. His mother was my son's partner when they were in the Harvest Moon Ball. And they won second and third also. They never won first. Yes. What I like most, I guess that music and that dancing, really. I love the music and I love the dancing, because I was there every night, except when I got pregnant, they wouldn't let me come in, Yeah, because they were afraid other people could come in, but none of us dancers when we were pregnant. They said, we know you're going to get on the floor. We'll tell other people you're not allowed to dance. You can come up, but you can sit and listen to the music.
Sugar, wait a minute.
But they wouldn't let me do
Sugar,
that.
Wait!
What?
Cheryl, come here.
What?
Cheryl,
Yes.
come here. She also won the Harvest Moon Ball. That's Sugar's daughter.
Yes, Cheryl had her own partner, and they won second and third also.
Right.
Yes. And I used to make costumes for all these people.
She wouldn't make it for me.
I designed and made costumes for a lot of the dancers, and when we went on the road, I'd made and designed the costumes until I taught the girls how to sew. Then I would design, cut them out, and taught everybody how to sew up their costumes. We once took sheets off the chambermaid's cart in a hotel in Canada.
Sure did.
Because we saw colored sheets. We had never seen nothing but white sheets in New York. And we saw these aqua sheets.
And the green one.
And the aqua, it was aqua
It was
green.
green.
And it was aqua, Barbara.
It was green.
This is what I went through with the girls, telling them different colors and sequins and different fabrics and stuff. Okay, now you know what I went through. It was an aqua color cotton fabric. And we
Wasn't
went
it
to
green,
different
Sarah?
floors to get enough for each girl. And I made these costumes that we wore at the club where we were working, because the club was different from the hotel that we lived in, which was great. Otherwise, we'd have went to jail. Somebody might have noticed. That looked like
You know what?
know.
This lady here can really dance. And she gonna dance. Y'all be seeing her on the floor a lot and watch her. She's a really she's a hell of a dancer. She reminds me of some of myself. Go ahead, Cheryl. Talk.
I'm going to close out before he closes out. The most important thing I remember, as a child, I think it's me.
Yeah, she had it down here.
because I'm nervous. As a child, the Savoy was my brother and our playground. While they danced, we were on the floor, on the wood, fantastic dance floor, feeling the music, feeling the beat, hearing the beat constantly. That is important in the dance. You have to become one with the music. If you don't feel the music, you can do the steps all your life and you'll never get to dance. So always remember that in your inner soul, that the music, you have to become part of the music. Second, what I remember about Savoy, in my childhood days and as growing up during my era of Lindy Hop, love. The camaraderie. The main focus is Lindy Hop, period. That transcends over genders, cultures, because Lindy Hop is the culture. Okay? Lindy Hop is the family. You're part of the family. Each of you belong to each other when you're in this dance. So that's what when I travel with Barbara and my mom to these venues, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the love. I'm on the internet and I had this one talking about this one. We're like, why? It ain't about the outside world junk. It's about Lindy Hop. How you feel when you're doing this dance. How you're interacting with each other. If you know somebody that comes to the venues and you don't see them, find out what happened. Like, wait, you've been gone for 3 years. What? Wait, so-and-so's missing. And you got all the tools. That stupid phone. Which is not stupid because, trust me, I'm a techie, but it's changed through I'm 74 years old, or 74 years young. So I've seen a couple of things. I'm also a hip-hop head, man. I love my hip-hop. But like through the years, so many things have been deteriorated with junk, okay? The most important thing in this room is the love of the dance. The love of the dance. Don't ever forget that. Because when you forget that, you've lost. You've lost. I come to these venues to see the love of the dance. Because that's the main thing. That's the big umbrella. Dance. Under that is y'all. Okay? So don't forget that.
Lindy Hop gives you another family, and where you dance, that's another home. And that's the way we felt about the Savoy. That was our second home. That was our second home. We'd be up there in the daytime practicing. That's what you're talking about. That's when they was crawling across the floor playing. We'd be practicing in the daytime, trying to better our condition, our routines, you know, wanting to win the Harvest Moon Ball. Because the night you win the Harvest Moon Ball first place, you become a professional performer. Mm-hmm. You sign professional contracts that night before you leave Madison Square Garden, and you're considered a professional performer from then on. Everything you signed had money signs behind it. You know, oh yes it did. And you signed contracts for nightclubs, theaters. We played Rockefeller, Radio City Music Hall. We played the Latin Quarter, you know, and that's what happened when you won first place in any of those contests, any of those dance that won first place in all of those different dances that they had that night. First place winners, professional dancers from there.
I'm going to say this and I'm leaving. I don't care about the rest of it. Do me a favor. the next time you come, bring somebody with you. I don't care if there's one person. Try to bring two, but try to at least get one person here. I bet you, even if they can't dance, let them come anyway. They would like to, they would like to see everybody else here like I like to see all of y'all here. But please bring someone else with you. You'll be surprised how they're going to enjoy it and ask you next year, are you going back to that place again? And who knows, they may even decide to come one year and you may not even show up. So please bring somebody else with you and don't stop dancing.
And don't forget your sisters, your nieces.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ones that have children, your little boys, your little girls. If they see it, they'll love it.
Yeah.
And they'll want to learn it. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Well, let's hear it for our legends. Thank you so much.